Hello, welcome to Anita the Pedagogue channel. Today, we continue with our literature lessons. We want to look at a poetry analysis of the poem Sleep Without Wake by Amoako. Let's begin. Our lesson objectives for today, we will look at the title, the structure of the poem, its line-by-line analysis, the literary devices in the poem, the themes, and some likely examination questions. We begin with the title. The title Sleep Without Wake should not be taken literally because it is used as a euphemism to mean a passage of life which is death, and euphemism is saying something unpleasant in a pleasant way. The point where one sleeps and never wakes up is death. So to sleep without wake is referring to the death of a person. So this particular poem is a tribute of the poet or the narrator to his mother. Let's move on and look at the poem Sleep Without Wake by Amoako. Mother's milk gave me suck. Mother's fingers soothed my skin. The night kept mother awake when baby was sour, and that was me. You vanished into the morning mist of April's last days, 1998. Precisely how and when is locked up in your wooden box, thus severing the Kolebu cord between you and me. Premier son of a premier daughter, Abuna's pioneer child, Kwabena, you put me through my infant paces on Gold Coast Gashipong. Ta, tu, in your maternal steps, Mami Tutua, condolences. You were brought into view again after a long chilling month, your face frozen into a grim visage. So you thawed somewhat into your familiar self, but still inert, immobile, like a sculptured bride, to the mourner's willful gaze. Your last Odumase words to me only a week before were, "Go in peace, it looks like rain." Words as auspicious, puzzling, potentious, looking back. Wow, Sleep Without Wake by Amoako. So this poem is a 4-stanza poem with 29 lines. We can say it is a free verse poem. This is because it does not follow a regular pattern. As you can see, the lines of the poem are uneven and there are no end-line rhymes, or we cannot deduce a rhyme scheme for this particular poem. So it is a free verse poem. Let's look at the diction. The diction has some easy and also some sophisticated vocabulary. It also includes some Ghanaian words and expressions like Abena, Gashipong, Ta, tu, Kolebu, Odumase. Also, we can say this poem is a eulogy. Now, this is a speech or a piece of writing or a poem that praises someone or something highly, especially a tribute to someone who has just died. When we look at the poem again, we are able to see that it has special descriptive adjectives that helps to create imagery, like Kolebu cord, premier son, pioneer child, premier daughter, Odumase West. So this is a poem that is also a tribute to the narrator's mother. Let's move on. So when we put all that together, we get the structure of the poem. So again, it is a 4-stanza poem with 29 lines. It is a free verse poem, does not follow a regular pattern. The lines are uneven, and there are no end-line rhymes or a rhyme scheme. It is a eulogy. The diction has some easy and also some sophisticated vocabulary. It also includes some Ghanaian words and expressions like abena, kwabena, gashipong, ta, tu, kolebu. And also, we see some difficult or sophisticated vocabulary like auspicious, puzzling, potentials, pioneer, innate, and visage. So auspicious means promising, favorable, or positive. Puzzling means bewildering, confusing, or perplexing. Potentials means ominous, a form of a warning or foreshadowing. Pioneer means early or forerunner. Innate means slow or inactive. Visage means appearance, form, facial expression. Let's move on. Let's look at the line-by-line analysis of the poem. Let's begin with stanza 1. In the first stanza, the narrator of the poem explains the exceptional care and attention he received from his mother. He recounts the nourishment of his mother's milk, the soothing caresses of his mother's fingers, and the sleepless nights his mother endured when he was sick as a baby. So he makes the statement, "The night kept mother awake." This tells us the significance of mothers, especially in the lives of their children. It is an undisputed fact that mothers are naturally caregivers of their children. The narrator emphasizes the key role of his mother in his life in this initial stanza. Let's look at stanza 2. The narrator recounts the very time her mother passed on, that is, vanishing into the morning mist. He does not state a specific day but mentions the final days of the month of April in the year 1998. In lines 8 and 9, the narrator is unable to tell what caused his mother's death, that is, to be kept in a wooden box, and wooden box here is a casket, or how it happened. The narrator is unable to tell what caused or how his mother died. The writer's mother's death caused the severing, that is, the cutting of the kolebu cord. So here there is the use of an allusion by the mention of Kolebu. Kolebu is actually a teaching hospital in Accra. So perhaps the narrator was born there, or his mother died at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And the cord here represents the umbilical cord, which is usually cut at birth to separate the baby from the mother. In line 11, the writer uses the adjective premier to show that he is the firstborn of his mother, and his mother is also a firstborn daughter. In the culture of the Akans in Ghana, the firstborn has the responsibility of caring for the family in the absence of the parents. They also play a major role when a parent passes on. In line 12, he mentions the name of his mother, Abena. In Akan is the name for a Tuesday-born girl, and emphasizes that he is the firstborn of his mother by using the adjective pioneer. He also mentions his name, Kwabna. In Akan, it's the name for a Tuesday-born boy. This again explains that he, the narrator, had a lot of things in common with his mother. They were all born on the same day, that is Tuesday. In lines 13 to 15, the narrator recounts the role his mother played in nurturing him. "You put me through my infant pace. in their community, which is situated at the Gold Coast, Ghana, precisely Gashipong. And Shipong here means along the beaches of, let's say, the Garland, and in Ghana that is Accra, where most of the Ghanaians hail from. He recounts the sounds or song most mothers sing in Ghana to assist their babies to walk, a traditional lullaby, ta ta tu tu. He pays tribute to his mother by extending condolences to her, while referring to her as Mami Tutua. In stanza 3, the narrator describes the look of his mother after she came out of the mortuary to be prepared for her burial. In lines 17 and 18, the narrator talks about his mother's frozen face, like a grim visage. That is a gloomy facial expression. This was after she was kept in a mortuary for a month. So usually bodies are preserved in freezers there ahead of their burial. Because the narrator's mother was frozen, she thought and looked more like herself. However, she was still inert, immobile, and the writer compared her to a sculptured bride. So this was when she was laid in state. Usually during burials, especially for Ghana, if it's a woman, she's usually dressed in her wedding gown or dressed in white like a bride. In line 24, the narrator talks about the look of sadness of the mourners as they gazed upon his mother. So the mourners' willful gaze. In the fourth stanza, the narrator talks about his last visit to his mother in Odumase. And Odumase is a town in Ghana. That was only a week before his mother's death. And according to him, there was a farewell bid from his mother, because the mother said, "Go in peace, it looks like rain." Usually, it is the living that prays for a peaceful rest for the dead. But here, it looks prophetic, as the mother rather said those words. In addition, the words as auspicious, puzzling, potentials, and these words could imply that the mother wanted to say that there is something suspicious or an impending danger. In the last line, we are able to know that in the narrator's tribute, he uses flashback because he's talking about looking back, so he's reflecting on the memories from the past. Let's look at some literary devices. Personification. The night kept mother awake. Line 3. Euphemism. Wooden box. So in place of caskets. And sleep without wake. In place of death or die. So these are more pleasant ways to say it. Assonance. Ta ta tu tu. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in a group of words. So here you can see the sounds that have been repeated, the vowel sounds. Ah and then oo. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in words. So here we have ta ta tu tu. Mami tutua, we see the repetition of the consonant sound t. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is when you use words to mimic sounds. Ta ta tu tu, mami tutua. So all this refers to the sounds that babies use to walk. Simile. Immobile like a sculptured bride. So here, the stiffness of the narrator's manner is being compared to a sculpture like a statue of a bride. Also, go in peace, it looks like rain. So here, the situation is being compared to rain. There is also the use of allusion, the word kolebu. Allusion is when a writer intentionally makes a reference to a name of a place or a person or something that actually exists in the real world. So the use of kolebu is an allusion. Also, Gold Coast. Gold Coast is the former name of Ghana, and also Gashipong for Accra, where the Gas hail. Let's look at some themes. Death is unpredictable. This poem emphasizes the sudden and unpredictable nature of death. That usually does not pre-inform you before it takes you or your loved ones most of the time. The death of people's loved ones bring about intense grief, mourning, and devastation. In this poem, the death of the narrator's mother caused him to remember all the sacrifices and good things his mother had done for him. In addition, the narrator finds it confusing that he couldn't discern his mother's death in spite of her last Odumase words, which were "go in peace, it looks like rain," and words like auspicious, puzzling, and potentials. Death is unpredictable. Let's look at another theme. The love of a mother leaves permanent marks in their children. So the role of a mother in the life of children is very important. Due to breastfeeding and care most mothers and their children have together, they usually have a special bond. Again, most mothers are caregivers, so when children are unwell, they are the ones who offer most care. This poem is a wake-up call to children to appreciate their mothers exceptionally. Mothers leave an indelible mark of love, support, and care upon their children. Even when they are no more, their children celebrate them. In the tribute of the narrator, he took time to recount the acts of love, care, and support his mother offered him, like, "Mother's milk gave me suck, mother's fingers soothed my skin, and the night kept mother awake." These are all acts of love that the narrator's mother offered to him. Let's look at some likely examination questions on the poem Sleep Without Wake. Which literary device is sleep without wake? What is the structure of the poem? What type of poem is sleep without wake? What is the theme of the poem? Mention 2 themes in this poem. Identify 3 lines describing mother as a kind, gentle, and caring person. What is said to be words as auspicious, puzzling, potentials? Who is referred to as premier son of a premier daughter? Identify the literary devices in the following. A. Wooden box. B. Ta-ta-tu-tu. C. Immobile like a sculptured bride. How long ago did mother say "go in peace"? And where did this conversation take place? This brings us to the end of our lesson. Let's do a quick recap. We've looked at the title, Sleep Without Wake. It gives us a hint that it's about death, and we realize that it is a tribute to a mother. We've seen the structure of the poem. It's a 4-stanza poem with 29 lines. The diction has some easy words and some difficult or sophisticated vocabulary. We've realized that this poem is a eulogy. It's the praise or a tribute to the dead. We've looked at the line-by-line analysis of the poem. We looked at literary devices and also some themes. I hope this lesson was useful. Put in your comments and questions and I'll respond to you. Do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Until I come your way again, keep learning and be the best version of yourself.